Chat to a woman who knows all about commercial property. Apparently it's in her veins. Trish Barrigan is co-founder of the real estate investment firm Benson Elliott Capital and joins us. Trish, great to have you in the studio with us. Lots to talk about.
Great to be here, thank you.
Can we just talk about what we were looking at, that graph and a bit of a boom. Is there a worry, got to get straight into it, is there a worry that there is a boom or a bubble being created, and if so, if it's going to pop, where does it pop?
Well, I think given the amount of capital that's been raised to invest in property globally over the last several years, I think there is some concern by various pundits that there could be a boom, but I don't think we're there yet. If you look at sort of where we are, real estate is very cyclical, and we're maybe only halfway to where we were at the top of the property market before 06, 07 in general. So I think there is still room to run.
Does the market give us, this commercial real estate market, does it give us an indication of the state of the global economy? Because I think it's fair to say we're seeing the UK and the US numbers recently. We're still seeing a very mixed picture around the world.
I think it does, but it's a laggard, right? Because it takes time for economic growth to drive through to create business confidence and to allow for job growth to fuel office demand. So it lags behind. You start to see the economic growth first that creates the office demand, and then people start to see a perspective of the potential for an increase in rents that will drive their investment decisions.
But clearly in Hong Kong's case, it's a shortage of land. It's a very small area, and they're putting up skyscrapers to get more space out of a limited amount of land. But then you compare it to somewhere like the Middle East, Dubai, for example. I spent a lot of time there. Prices soaring once again, but they've got infinite land. They've got deserts there that aren't built on. I mean, what is it that's driving? Is it purely demand, or it's a lack of space too in certain places?
Well, I think what we're seeing today is the global financial crisis dried up financing across the board, but certainly development finance. So, a lot of areas are waking up to the realization that there is a lack of new Class A modern office space that also meets the sustainability credentials that both tenants and investors are looking for today. And that's driving a lot of this new development.
Trish, can I ask you about just a little bit about you've got a great story, US-Irish national, grew up in France.
Yes.
You went through your university playing soccer. You got a soccer scholarship. Yes. Yeah, and we've been told, and looking at your background, you could have chosen many a field. Why real estate?
Well, I think I was fortunate enough to join a graduate training program at Goldman Sachs when I graduated from university, and I had the opportunity to work across different markets and asset classes. But having studied philosophy and sociology, real estate was very it was clear and understandable for me. It's a tangible asset class. It's easy to understand. And so that really drove my decision.
When you look at your time in the industry, and clearly it's very varied and very international, what is your, we've asked all the guests that have come on in this slot, what is your biggest challenge when you come to doing your job on a day-to-day basis?
Well, our business really is about intellectual capital, right? And understanding sort of the intuition, the perspective, and the judgment that one gains
it's all about
throughout
psychology,
their career. Yes. So the most difficult thing is really identifying top talent, recruiting and retaining top talent today. As economies expand, graduates and even members of my staff have opportunities to go elsewhere. So it's creating the opportunities for their careers to develop.
And you use a philosophy, I believe. Is it? It's flexible but fearless. How do you get that balance? How do you walk that line?
I think the important thing, and as I've seen in my career, is to take opportunities when they are presented. It certainly wasn't an easy decision to leave Goldman Sachs and move to the Middle East, but that really created the opportunity for me to be able to start Benson Elliott, a new business, and get the confidence of investors to back us.
When it comes to, and I hesitate to ask this question because it's a women doing a job that's important, and I hear that concept. But what's interesting is in certain industries we hear a lot about women in top jobs, things like hedge funds, and it seems very exciting, very new, very unusual. In your industry, have you ever faced problems like that, whereby someone said, gosh, this is a surprise, you're doing very well in an industry, and frankly, we're surprised that you're a woman doing it? I mean, it shouldn't exist, but it still does.
I think it does exist, and it is unfortunate because, women and men do think differently, and diversity of thought, I think, is critical to the success of any business, and it also avoids any biases. The reality is that the property industry, as well as the finance industry, have, for a long time been dominated by males. Today, top senior positions in property or real estate firms are less than 10% are held by women. So it is certainly something that we'd like to try to encourage young graduates to come into the industry and to work their way up.
Okay.
Interesting stuff.
It's
really
great stuff.
from
Yeah,
you.
Trish, thank you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Trish